So I've just done some technical work, then I've hit a few shots with a 9-iron and 7-iron just to see, how my technical practice went. And I've got my pattern of shots, my dispersion here. So we've got average carry numbers down there, 155 and 9-iron, and then that's a little bit high for the 7-iron. These are quite strong clubs, but you can see I've got a bit of an outlier there. So if you do get, when you're maybe doing gapping or testing, your dispersion or pattern, if you get some outliers, it could be like a real bad shot, which is unlikely. You can't compensate or can't plan for shanking the golf ball, let's say. And well, likewise, that one that's gone, 200 yards plus, that's going to be a bit weird. It's probably a spin issue for whatever reason. So your spin was quite low on that when it went too far. That's more like it, sort of 187 average with quite strong clubs. So I know my patterns, missing a bit left, now we've got to test it. So you can test it on the virtual range. I do like that a lot. You've got the test centre as well. Virtual range just makes things a little bit more real, but we're now going to use the golf course. Now, make the practice specific to what you're working on. I was doing mid to short irons there, so I'm going to go to the par threes and work on distances I need to hit from there. I can make it even more specific. I can change the tees for different lengths. If I'm working on wedges, I'd use the shorter junior tees. I'm going right to the back. It's a par 3 golf course. You can even change the settings in terms of the wind, but let's get on with it and see how we do. So the test centre is great for measuring your performance. It's unbelievably good on the TrackMan Go app. Check out previous videos on that if you want to or you haven't already. Then you've got the virtual range, which you have to take into account the elevation. There's the wind to consider as well. And you've got some penalty areas. So it does sharpen up your aiming and your club selection and your shot selection. Alternatively, use the golf course, which is probably my preferred thing to do. It just makes it a little bit more specific with changing clubs and knowing where the danger is on the golf course. So the important thing is when you do that, I've worked on mid to short irons. Find a course where you're going to hit mid to short irons. This is one of the par 3s. I've gone to the back tees because I know the distances for the first, I think 2 or 3 holes are relevant to what I'm working on. So that's what I'm going to do. If you're working on shorter clubs or you're hitting it a different distance, use the shorter tees. Nothing wrong with going from the junior tees when you're working on, like, let's say, wedges. So first hole here, 185. The flag's at the back though, so although I was carrying the 7-iron about that, I don't really want to go too long because being short-sided, not ideal. I've got a fair bit of green to work with. There's not a lot of breeze. It's very slightly helping, but all this stuff is going through my head now rather than just hitting shots on an empty range. So 185, I've measured the front bunker. That's 165 to get over. Shouldn't worry about that. It's probably the worst I'm going to do with an 8-iron because my front yardage is going to be at that bottom end at the worst, I hope, especially with these clubs, which are pretty strong. So I'm going 8-iron. I could hit like a knockdown 7-iron, but when you take length off your swing, dispersion relative to distance actually gets a little bit wider. So no need to do that because I don't need to hit it low for any particular reason. 8-iron's enough to get me to front, maybe middle of the green. So that's what I'm going for. If you do want to change your alignment, flag's middle of the green here. I've got a bit of room to the left, so I'm not going to change my alignment. I'm going at the flag pretty much. If there was trouble down the left-hand side or that flag was tucked away on the left, like you saw from my miss, which is a bit to the left, I might aim a bit to the right. But I'm going for this flag. It's middle of the green. It should be stock 8-iron swing. And we'll see how we do. Might not be coming back enough, but it's over the front bunker and it's front of the green. So didn't hit it great, a little bit high and weak to the right, but we are putting, hopefully a 2-putt from 40 foot. Oh, it's going to be a 3-putt. That's harsh. Right, let's do